Good morning, everybody. A warm welcome you all in the second session of third day 1 week capacity building program on Education 4.0. In this session, we are going to cover topic innovative pedagogy of TLP. For this, we have our speaker guest Dr. Kamal Shah ma'am. Before starting our session, I would like to give a brief introduction about our speaker guest, Kamal Shah ma'am. She is currently working as a vice principal in Thakur College of Engineering Technology, Mumbai, having a more than 2 decades of experience in field of education in variety of positions such as Dean, R&D, PG, and Head of the Department. She is a globally recognized certified diploma in Open Learning Program in Entrepreneurship, certified examiner for internal ISO audits, and certified examiner for IMC Ram Krishna Bajaj Quality Award, and much more. Apart from this, ma'am was appreciated by IIT Bombay for excellent work in Akash project in 2013. She was received Dr. APG Abdul Kalam National Award for Teaching Experience and Internship by ISACR and Excellence in Leadership in Education Award for Golden Aim. Receipt of many awards, including 20 Pragmatic Women Academician in India. She had grant received as a principal investigator from government agencies such as DST, AICT, Mumbai University, and many more. As she is a firm believer of outcome-based education, will train more than 2,000 students and faculty of various technologies and more other academic models. Now I would like to invite Kamal Shah ma'am to continue our session. Yes. Ma'am.
Thank you for a warm welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
With the continuation of the first session, the different way of vision, we will start how visions when we are in various topics under teaching learning process. So let us start with the session. Screen. Slides are visible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Slides are visible.
Oh, thank you. So, this we learn basically some new kind of gamifications or into the class by which student attention in our lecture learning process with the concept 4 aspects of it. See strength, challenges, opportunity, threat education systems. Different games we can introduce in the teachers also and the students also. Quotient, what kind of intelligence we want to, and finally we want to sum with your inputs. Now let us say, may I get 2 or 3 responses from your side why you have joined this program or why training is important? Specifically, when students are coming back from online mode to offline mode, we can say now it's a new normal blended mode of learning. We are telling we are welcoming students back to the campuses after almost 1.5 year, 2 year. And at that time, we all are taking a training on Education 4.0 because pandemic has taught us many things, including the shifting of the education pedagogy concepts. So why the training is important as per your thought process? May I get few answers from your side? Either you can write down in the chat box or you can unmute, whichever way you are comfortable. Why do you feel that you should be trained now? to enhance learners' learning experience. Okay.
To stay updated with the current trends.
Yeah, we want to stay updated with the current trends. Very nice. I'll share one short, I would say a story or a learning from a story, why the training is important. Okay. I'll show you one picture. Can you guess what the picture is? What is this picture about?
Aim.
It's a well-known story. Which is this picture about?
Arjuna is aiming at the eye of the bird.
So he is aiming and he is trained for giving that particular bullseye shot by the Guru Dronacharya. So lots of training was given to various students, I would say. And the student, those who was well trained was Arjun because he practiced a lot. What is the result? Because he was trained well. He could do a complicated task when he was trained well, when that particular fish was moving, and then in that moving object, he has to concentrate or focus on the eye of the fish. He could do it because he has taken lots of training in his previous years. And what is the fruit? He got the reward. So this is my understanding that if we all are trained well for doing any task in any complex situation, we can perform well. And that is the reason why we all are gathered here for taking a training. Now, what are the, I would say, observations from my side of today's education system? But even in this, you can do add-on. You can unmute in between or you can write down in the chat box. It is I would say not a monologue type of a session. All of you can participate in between wherever you feel that you are feeling the same way, where I have divided the things. According to me, today the strength of our education system is that we are able to give structured information to the students. Lots of places, whatever we want, we are able to get those things in a structured manner. We don't have to search many things, but we are able to get all those things on click of the mouse. There are lots of online resources, online tools are available now, which can be our help. Lot of people, like including the lowest stage of the society, that awareness about education has increased a lot. So many people feel that now they want to take education. So there is a flow of the students into the system. So these are the strength of today's education system, what I feel. Me, till today, we have fixed examination pattern. The number of marks might be vary. Sometimes internal is 25 marks, 20 marks, and the final exam is 75 marks, 60 marks, something like that. But still, we are evaluating learners on their learning ability with the fixed examination pattern. The problem-solving attitudes of the student in this fixed examination pattern sometimes are not measurable. The teachers, those who are teaching the design subject, they are not allowed to ask one question that, okay, design a particular bridge, design a particular machine in open book manner for 100 marks. This is not possible. Okay. So that kind of problem solving attitude of the student, the measurement is not there. Lots of deliveries, like last 3 days, even we have seen during pandemic also, we have observed that the new solutions are coming with the digital, they are digital in nature. So if you have mobile phone in your hand, you become king or a queen. So all the things are access to you. One data pack should be there and one mobile phone should be there. Then all these things, whatever we are designing, whatever way we want to deliver to the students, maximum things are available to the student if they have this particular thing. But the students, those who are not having mobile phone or might be the bandwidth or connectivity, at that time, what are the issues? Like, because of this, the new term digital divide has been coined in this era. Last 2-3 years, this particular term has been coined now. There is a language divide. Maximum material on the internet, if we see, it is available in the English language. But the vernacular language, now we have started getting, but the concentration of the material in English language is more than the other languages. So these are the challenges which we can solve as a part of Education 4.0 as a academician in our own organization. Opportunity is what government has also understood this digital divide, language divide, and they have started now developing infrastructure across the country. 5G, they have given the permission. Vernacular medium study, they have started. Even engineering you can do now in your own mother tongue. Those kind of initiatives they have started. So with that, we might be able to bridge the gap. And what are the threats? This is most important, that if as a mentor to the student, we are not able to increase the academic quotients of the student. So ultimately at the end of the day, end of the year, end of their graduation period, they all will be well informed and not well educated. So to make our student well educated, we as a mentor have to work on their academic quotients more than anything else now, henceforth. Once we have come out from the pandemic in the new normal, this we should concentrate more. Now the question arises, what is this academic quotient? How I can do it? So let us understand that particular aspect. So ultimately, whatever our opportunities are there, whatever our strengths are there, we want to improve it. Simultaneously, we want to reduce our challenges. So how we can do it? Let us start discussing on that particular aspect. Before that, any one of you have any additional point on this strength, challenges, opportunities, and threat? Do you feel there are few more challenges which we should address? Or you feel that whatever listed are the major ones, now we should concentrate? So let us start at least whatever we have in our bucket and start addressing one by one. So let us understand that how I can improve the academic quotient of my student. How I can be very sure that whatever delivery I am giving into the class for my subject content, that has been absorbed in a learner or the student. So one technique or one method, what I would like to share, or one pedagogy you can say, it goes like this. So whenever for any subject we receive any syllabus, either syllabus can be given from the university if you are affiliated institute, or if you are autonomous, you and your team members might have designed the syllabus as per the various inputs received from industry stakeholders, and then that syllabus has been given to you as a faculty member at the start of the semester by might be your HOD or by some structured process. Once we receive the syllabus, we should observe syllabus for 10 minutes or 15 minutes without doing anything on the syllabus. Observe the syllabus and find out that what all topics are there into the syllabus, which are basic knowledge type of the topic. What all topics are there where I can develop skill set of my student? And is there any topic present in the syllabus by which I can develop attitude of my student as a learner? So there are 3 columns in which I start distributing topic under knowledge, skill, and attitude. Normally in the syllabus, you will get lots of items for knowledge and skill, but that attitude component might be missing. So that you can take as a content beyond syllabus. So now let us take one subject where we want to apply this academic portion. The name of the subject is Principle of Communications. The topic selected for the discussion is digital modulation techniques. From the participants pool, like, is this particular topic familiar to you? Digital modulation techniques. Have you come across when you have studied, or might be have you taught this particular topic?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Others can reply, please.
Basically,
Other participants.
I'll for those people, those who have not learned it, I'll just explain into the brief. But this particular method or pedagogy, what we are going to discuss today, which are the gamification of the topic, it is once you complete your theoretical lecture into the class, this should be introduced. So it is the prerequisite knowledge required for the subject is there in a student, and after that you can introduce this label. So what is the basic concept of the digital modulation? That modulation is like a car. Suppose I want to travel from one point to the next point. I want to travel from, let us say, from Borivali to Kandivali. There are two source and destination, 7 to 8 kilometers apart. If I keep on walking, I might take 1.5 hours, 1 hour. But if I take a car, I might travel that distance in 15 minutes. So if you compare these two things, ultimately modulations we are doing to increase the speed of signals to travel when we do the communication. There are three ways how we can do modulation. Okay. Amplitude, frequency, and phase shift. So when we want to do amplitude modulation, at that time, the binary digits, like as we know, it's a digital modulation. So your signals are in the form of ones and zeros. So whenever we have a zero, the amplitude is zero. And whenever we have one, the amplitude is maximum. You can see here, the digital signal is given by that light blue colored square wave. And the carrier wave is a sinusoidal wave, which has a higher frequency. Because ultimately it's a car, so it should have a higher speed than the human walking. Now binary signal. Now observe on the right hand side how the graphs are there. So whenever zero is there, you can see minimum amplitude is there. Wherever ones are there, you have higher magnitude. So when this kind of the signal flows, we can say that the signals are in amplitude shift keying pattern. The another way how we can travel, it is like you can travel by Centro also, you can travel by Nano also, you can travel by Mercedes also from the same distance. So another method is frequency modulation, where you can observe that for a zero, we have a low frequency, and for one, we have the higher frequency, second number of the graph on the right hand side of the box. And whenever we have a phase shift, at that time for zero, whatever might be the phase, we are shifting it by 90 degree when the one symbol will come. Now this knowledge we have given into the class when we were discussing as a faculty this particular topic. We have asked students to develop various waveforms for number of binary signal, different permutation combinations. So this knowledge is given to the student. Now where student is making a mistake, when you observe in a class, when students start developing the waveforms, at that time they get a confused how to develop the waveform, or they make a mistake with ones and zeros, how they should develop the waveform. So this is a common point observed when this particular topic was taught by the teacher into the class. Now how we can improve upon? Now here, that understanding of the student that whenever different symbols are coming, I have to do different activity. that basic knowledge should be reinforced into the student mind. And for that, what we can do, we can ask a student, if you want to increase their critical thinking, you can give them 5W1H model, that why modulation is required, what is the difference between all ASK, FSK, PSK method, where it is applicable. Are we using modulation somewhere? When it is important to apply, who has invented, all these questions you can throw to them as a part of 5W1H model, which is a part of a self-learning. So we are nowadays encouraging students for focused self-learning also. So you can use lots of technologies and techniques shown to you in the previous lectures, where the self-learning questions you can put and student can start finding some of the answers. This will improve their critical thinking. But the main difficulty is in the part of exams, or might be when they want to develop the diagram. So do you have any idea how we can make students more confident in drawing all those patterns? Do you have any suggestion on this? Any one of you? What is the usual way if we want that students should develop all these diagrams very correctly? What is the usual way? As a faculty, what do? We ask them to practice. Yeah. We ask them to practice for more number of times, same diagram with different patterns. So ultimately, we feel that it is there in there. But now when they will practice, they have to practice at their home. Because in a lecture, you have lots of things to deliver. So you cannot give individual student a practice time of 15-20 minutes, and then you are not sure also that after practice, whether that thing has been there imbibed in his mind or no. So I'll show you one technique. Let us see that as a student, when you observe this as a student, okay, whether that thing appeals you or you need any more suggestion. Let us say that in a classroom, we have number of students. We can say that students, these are the two figures I am giving. If you are standing, you are representing bit 1. And if you are sitting, you are representing bit 0. Now, how we should do it? Take the group of the students. If you want to involve the whole class of 70 or 80, you can just slide your benches of the class, make some space in between, and make them stand all the students in two particular rows or the columns, I would say, facing each other. If you want that rest of the students should observe, then call 10 students randomly in front of the class and ask them to stand in a row. After that, you can give any one sequence onto the board. You can write 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. I have taken a random sequence. What is expected now? The students, those who are standing in the position of 1, has to stand, but the student, those who got the second position, has to sit, because sitting position is representing 0. So after 5 minutes of explanation into the class, you will get this kind of the pattern in front of the class. So the students standing, they are representing 1. Students sitting, they are representing 0. Quickly change the digit. Now suppose I take another digit like this. Can you make a pattern in your notebook? Who will sit and who will stand? Or if you want to write or you want to unmute yourself and share, you are welcome. Can you make a pattern like this now? Here you can see students standing are 1, students sitting are 0. Can you do it for this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So how many of you got correctly? So how many of you at least tried? Okay. Ruchi madam is telling sit, sit, stand, sit, stand, stand. Okay. 3, 5, 6 position boy will stand. Okay. So what we are doing, we are asking student to do experiential learning. So they themselves are either standing or sitting. And when somebody else is making a pattern, they are observing and they are telling, okay, who will sit, who will stand. So here, first and second child will sit, third will stand, fourth will sit, fifth and sixth will stand. Now, as a game, for 10 minutes, you can play this particular concept into the class with different patterns of zeros and ones. And in a team, you can divide class into the team. You can start giving some marks to everyone so that positive competition is there into the class for getting maximum correct combinations. Now, when they have observed by themselves that whenever zeros are changing into the one, they have to do some different actions. Definitely, they will remember when they start developing it onto the paper. Now, let us take another example, which is frequency shift key. Now, what is the logic of frequency shift key? That there are two different frequencies are engaged. So here I have taken two dolls and they both are dancing with the different speed. So whenever there is one, it will dance with a different speed. You can observe that frequency of dancing, and zero is again dancing with a different speed. So different frequency. So here magnitude is not changing, but what happened? The frequencies are changing wherever I have ones and zeros. Now you can give the same exercise to the students. Like you have frequency shift key, wherever you have one, it should be a different frequency. Whenever it is zero, it should have a different frequency. Now you can observe in the diagram, in a class, like whatever students you have called, they have to shake themselves. Okay. Why always students should fold their hands, keep silence and listen to the teacher? Let them have fun into the class. They will shake themselves. Okay. And according to that pattern, according to the number, let them increase or decrease their dancing speed between their partners. What we are teaching to the students? We are teaching multidisciplinary learning. We are involving dancing and music into the class. What else we are doing? We are increasing their teamwork, observation of the students we are increasing. So by increasing the gamification into the class, all this type of the, I would say, the added advantage we are bringing for the student into the class. So now this is different frequency representing different beat for modulation concept. Now phase shift key. What is the logic of phase shift key? That student, the waves which are having one frequency, frequency will not change, amplitude will not change, but the phase will change as per the bit. For one, you will have one phase, then for would you like to try for PSK? What kind of pattern it will be? The way, suppose you call 10 students in front of the class, what type of the pattern they will make if you are going to give them 100, 101. 6 students you are calling in front of the class, one student representing one bit. What type of pattern you are expecting that what they will make? Think for a minute. them a nursery student. I would say learning is a learning. Whatever learning patterns we can bring, if we feel that all the digital games only or digital aspects only can bring learning into the class, I would like to differ at that particular point, because there is, as I said, there is a digital divide across. So, and we are teaching them concepts with what we are bringing fun into the class. The engineering student always used to be very sincere, should not shake themselves into the class, always folded hand, might bring one particular level, but try this in your class. Definitely when students feel that enjoyment factor, at that time they feel more engaged into the class. They feel they are more engaged with you as a teacher. They are more engaged with the technology. So this kind of the thought process I have, and I would like to share on that particular line. So like face shifting key, the students can stand in front of the class, like who are one will face the class like this, and 90-degree will turn at the 90-degree. We are not changing their amplitude, we are not changing the frequency, but what we are doing, we are changing their standing positions. So 1 0 0 1 0 1. Now this is experiential learning. NEP is telling that give students experiential learning, lifelong learning, include multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary aspects into the class. So one type of the teaching we used to do till so many years, now I think we can bring some kind of what I would say a novelty into our teaching learning process. So those who have thought of like this for PSK, you have understood the concept correctly, you might implement in your class. Okay. So those who have done correctly, great job for you. By this, what we are doing, we have taught them a topic. We have introduced some activity where we are involving them in an experiential learning. After this, when the concepts are understood well, that is what we feel when they are able to make correct patterns into the class, what we are forcing them to think, we are asking them that instead of sine wave, can I try triangular wave? Now, because they are so much involved with you, with the topic, there is a bond between teacher and a student. Definitely, they will start finding the answer for this question. Now they have to go back to the mathematics. So now our actual engineering things will start. Why sine wave? What is the frequency? What is the amplitude? Where is that phase? Do I represent triangular wave in the same equation? If I have to do it, what are the difficulty? So we are increasing, or we are igniting higher cognitive levels of the student, where we are forcing them to think on a particular technology. And when they start thinking on that, might be in that thought process, discussing with their peer group that, okay, what are the difficulty in the triangular wave, discussing in the peer group or like-minded people, student might do research, might come out with the innovations, which is ultimate purpose of our education now, that we want them to think, to create something which is on the higher cognitive level. So like this, once we connect them, we can bring student onto that particular level. You have started your lecture by might be with the analogy with the car, modulation and car. Now we all know that when car moves, it gives you a speed, definitely, but it produces the pollution, which is a bad effect, or I would say a side effect of a car. Similarly, do I have any harmful effect of a modulation? Let them think. What we are bringing into the system, we are bringing that thinking culture into the system among the students and the faculty members, which is actually a purpose, because engineers have to create something. So at this level, because we are able to connect with them, we are bringing that particular cognitive level. Now I'll show you one video. Just observe the video and tell me, it's 30-second video. Just tell me what you have observed into the video. And kindly all of you participate into the activity.
Bala bala goppuga namala gori, bala bala goppuga namala gori.
Oh Ramu radiya, oh Somu radiya. Gloria, Gloria.
So now we have observed this particular video. What game you have observed there? Any one of you have observed that students were playing with some game there?
Yes, ma'am.
So the students were playing with a game called, in a local
Lagori.
language, like we call it Lagori. Many
Yes,
people
yes.
tell something else also. But basically, what was the purpose? The students were playing with one particular game where they want to put all the objects in a particular order, and the number of objects are 7. In many different part of the country, people are telling different name might be different, but the objects are 7, and then we put them into the sequence like this. Can you connect any technical topic similar to this? Resemble the same thing? Any technical topic you can club with this kind of the experience of the student?
Madam, sequential process can we include in this manner? And if any risk is there, or if it is not coordinated in a proper manner, can we involve like this?
Might be for that you can use what best, what I could think of is OSI model. For computer networks, we have like many good ideas are coming. Layered architecture, what I feel is OSI layer, RF transmitter.
Typecasting can also be explained like this.
Yeah, Sheetal madam said that.
Madam, typecasting.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share? So many of your technical concepts now, if whatever subjects you are teaching, where you have a structured process, like after 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, you want to explain that kind of the particular.
Even we can explain typecasting of the data.
Yeah, anything where you have a sequential process, like 1 process, 2nd process, 3rd process, you can take example of this. And why I feel, let them go to the ground, play with it, and whichever layer they are making, let them tell us which layer they are making. Are they making application layer, physical layer, what layer? Let them play also sometimes out of the classroom. Why we want to restrict teaching only into the fixed classroom of 4 walls with all your projectors and laptops and everything? Sometimes it could be fun outside also. You can teach this kind of the concept in the field also. Now, slowly, like you are able to connect your technical concept with gamification. In the OSI layer, like is a concept. After that, what we teach into the class, we teach them IP packets, TCP IP, and under that we teach them IP packet. Now the teachers, those who are teaching this subject, or the people, those who are observing this diagram, what we are observing, IP packet is, I would say, a structure. Here, what you people are observing? what we are observing, that there are lots of numbers written. Are you able to see lots of numbers written on the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Then there are lots of words written. Somewhere version is written, IHL, DSCP, ECN, header checksum, source address, destination address. Do you feel it is confusing for the student when he or she is learning? How the student remember this particular structure? This is our normal IP packet. All our the teachers in EXCC, IT, computer, under communication network, we have studied this. So how student remember this particular packet and the header? This is a header of your data packet. So how the student remember this? Suppose you are a student and you have to remember this particular thing. What will be your approach? How will you remember this particular thing? Ashwini ma'am, would you like to share? Chitra Bole. Now, this kind of the concepts where we want to give lot many information to the student, and we want that student should remember this as far as possible for a longer period of time, because this concept they might be studying in semester 4, 5, 6, something like that. So at that time, what we can do here, what I have done for the gamification, you can see that if you count, there are total 13 items written here. Version, IHL, DSCP, like that. There are 13 items written here. So when 13 number came in front of my eye, I have connected with something. Can you connect 13 number with some playing item? Where we have that 13 number, when any game or any sports object where you have that 13 number coming multiple times, where you have that 13, it will be in your playing card deck. It's in the cards. Okay, 13 comes 13 number and 4 pattern makes 52. So that 13 are relevant to the card. Now I am writing this, but let us play this, how the things are becoming easy. Ultimately, what is it? There are 13 header item which is displayed here for the topic, which is appended with the data. And then data packet moves on to the network. We teach lot many algorithms and the routers and everything to the student. Currently, what we are teaching them, we are teaching students that if you have a data, there are 13 items need to be added onto the header before data start traveling onto the network. Now, how we can reduce this particular effort? Now, I am putting this link into the chat box, and I am requesting all of you to open that into the next window. Okay. Are you able to see that particular link into the chat box?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you are able to see that link, click onto that link. What you got? Random.org. What you got, all of you?
Random.org
Like
site
this?
is.
Have you got screen like this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what here you can draw one card. If you have a bigger class like 50, 60 students, so one card each student can draw if you are playing in the physical mode. Online, you can draw 2, 3, 5, depending on which type of game you want to play. Currently, I request all of you to draw one card from one shuffle deck. Okay. And here, draw card. The end, can you see that particular draw card button? Click that button. One card will be there on your screen. How many of you could draw one card? Don't change any setting. Just go to step 4 and draw one card. Anyone is able to draw any card?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we get those hand raise? How many of you got one card? There will be a deck. All the cards will be upside down. Only one card will be drawn for you. Now, yeah, many people started getting the card. I have also drawn one card as a faculty. What I got diamond and 4. How many of you got number 4? When you draw a random card, what card, how many of you got 4? 4 of any design. It can be flower, black, heart or diamond. Okay. Any one of you got 4? Five? Okay. So someone got 5. Okay. What you can do in a class, now I'll go back to the PPT. PPT visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Now what we want to do in a class, that you have 13 cards. Okay. And 13 different patterns. So you are distributing cards into the class if you feel that you want to do it in the offline mode, or this is one tool I have shown you. Similar thing, you can do it in the online mode. Now what we are doing as a faculty, we are having 2 decks. So all the students are given one card. You pick up one card, the way I took 1, 4, 1, 5, like that. In a class, there are 50, 60 students. So multiple students will have 4 or 5. So minimum 4 students will be having that combination of 5. You can bring them together and say, what is a layer 5? What is on the number 5? Which item was there? Now, if you observe here, what is there on number 5? 1 is version, 2 is IHL, 3 is DSCP, 4 is ECN, 5 is a total length. Now, whatever might be the characteristic of the total length object, the student will come and tell in front of the class. What is the characteristic of total length? Total length is length of the entire IP packet, including IP header and IP payload. So the student has to tell this thing because that group of 5, number 5 has been selected by you. Then you can again shuffle your deck, take out the new card. Now let us say the new card is 6. It is flag. So what is the flag setting? The student have to narrate into the class. Now by this, what we are doing? We are engaging them. We are increasing that teamwork.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your slides are not moving.
Slides are not moving. Is it moving now?
Yes, yes. Now it is moving. Yes, yes.
Okay. So what we are doing, we are they will again check the diagram and the characteristic because they have to speak in front of the class. When one group is telling something, another ones are listening and checking. So slowly, within 13 times, the whole diagram might be rectified to the students in a different way, in a fun way. You are explaining the difficult concept, which otherwise they feel that they have to remember everything and they have to reproduce by practicing for multiple time on piece of paper. What is another way, if you don't want to do like this, even you have this way, the blank maze you can take from internet. You can write the things randomly. All 13 items I have written randomly over here. If you want to make it more specific, you can even write those number of bits into the bracket and give it to the students. Let them find out the correct way. I will stand here for 1 minute. You can take, if you want, you can take a pic of this particular screen. I request you to take a pic of this particular screen and then taken the picture of the screen. Now I am here. Find out the correct path in the maze. Version is 1. After version, I should go to IHL, then DSCP, then ECN, then total length, then identification, flag, frame, fragment offset. After that, time to leave, protocol, header checksum, source address, destination address, and options. So this is a sequence in which I should move to complete my maze. Are you able to get the correct path? This type of the worksheets also we can give it to the student. We should not feel the worksheets are only the proprietary right of the school education. Here we can give this kind of the creative worksheets to the students. Might be we can project onto the screen if a projector is available into the class, and then ask them to find out the route. Are you able to get the correct route? Any one of you? So here version, then IHL, then DSCP, then ECN, like that, you can find out the route and finally like you win. So you have completed the maze. By doing this activity, what we are doing, we are continuously bombarding onto the brain of the student what is a sequence in which they have to develop a particular diagram. So now one sequence they remember in the exam, it will be very easy for them to reproduce. That is one aspect. And for a longer period of time, they can remember also because they have put, it is a combination of all three kind of the learners. Yesterday, you have learned about 3 different kind of learner: auditory, visual, and the kinesthetic. So we are addressing the need of all 3 type of the learner by introducing this kind of the activities into the class. Okay. Now this is one more example where you have circuits of half adder, full adder in the digital logic circuit design type of the subjects. Now we want student to remember such a big circuit with the logic, truth table. How can we in class we want to develop this also? We are drawing on onto the might be board. We want them to copy in their notebook. But we want that everyone in the class, because it is very important circuit as per our syllabus, might be this is very important circuit and students should actually without any error should remember this circuit. That is expectation from a faculty. How we can go about it? Any easy way, what you can think now after seeing 2-3 examples? Do you want to contribute anything from your side? What is a way how we can teach them this particular circuit so that they reproduce the circuit at the time of practical exam or theory exam, or might be when they are making a project, they know actually how the gates are connected with each other when they are developing their small project, mini project. Normally, how do we do in a class? None of you teach this particular subject? Okay, so might be this topic you people are not teaching, but it is a part of electronics telecommunication. In IT also, we are teaching this topic. This is a truth table which student have to remember. As per this truth table, they will check the output S and C at the end. How many of us we have seen this relay game or relay race might be, or some of you might have played also. What are the game rule of the relay race? How do we play this game, relay race? What is it same as our running race, or there is some difference in the relay race and a running race?
You need to pass on the bar of the stick onto the other, team members. Yeah.
But can we do it at any random time, or there is some fixed position where the people are standing and we have to pass the stick at that particular position?
There is a fixed position where the, yes.
So there is a structured way in which we have to pass the stick to another player of our team. Okay. Same concept we can introduce into the class when students are sitting. Okay. We don't want to disturb the class. When they are sitting into the class, how do they sit? They have fixed columns. Might be 5-6 columns. Students are sitting into the class. Because they are sitting and playing the game, I say that it is a sitting relay. So I say it is a relay type of the race. What we have to do, last student, every column, last student, you can give a blank page. You can give 10 seconds or 15 seconds, depending on the complexity of the circuit to each student. What they have to do, last student will draw part of the circuit. Okay, here it's a big circuit. You have to draw part of the circuit, pass on the page to the previous student. He will also add some part of the circuit. It will go to the next student. So after 5-6 hope, the paper will come to the first student where he will complete the circuit. Now here what will happen, the student whomsoever remember whatever thing, they will start putting it onto the paper. And the next student will start doing connections or might be add on the details of your circuit. And after 2 minutes, the paper will come on the front desk where you are standing, and you can observe that whatever circuits are shown to them or taught to them, whether they have correctly reproduced or no. If they have not reproduced, whatever point the error is there, you can mark those errors and explain them in a class. So within 5 or 7 minutes, you can check the learning of the whole class. If you do this kind of the activity, I would say it's a sitting relay. So relay type of the race. Does it sound interesting, or you feel we cannot do it?
It is interesting, ma'am. We can do it.
So wherever you have a bigger circuit, you can do it like this. Now, if time will permit, we can also do it here, or I can share the whiteboard and all of you can start drawing into it. Let us see at the end, if we get some time, we will do it. Now, computer and IT engineering subjects, we have lots of coding, like lots of subject languages are there where we teach them some kind of the concept and then student write the code. What is the specialty of this two field, like IT computer type of the circuit branches, I would say? The language, they keep on changing after 3 to 4 years. Initially it was C, then C++ came, then Java, nowadays Python, R. Okay. Slowly after 3, 4 years, 5 years, the language changes. But what remains same is the logic. So we try to teach student along with the language a flow chart also. When some kind of the problem statement is given to you, try to develop first a flow chart. If your flow chart logic is clear, go and implement your code into the whichever language given to you. Do we follow this kind of the practice into the class? At least for the initial stages when students are learning the coding subjects? In your institute, do you encourage this kind of the learning? Okay. So in some of the subjects, we do like this. Now here, what is important? If your flow chart is correct, do you feel the sequence of the code will be correct? Only syntax errors will be there. If your flow chart is correct and students are developing code as per this flow chart, there are chances syntax error might be there, but the logic of the code might not be wrong. Do you feel like that? Okay. So we should we encourage students to develop a very good or correct flow chart. Now, what is the way we can use? There are lots of software available like draw.com and all, where drag and drop of all these objects are there. Student can use their pen and paper and develop this particular object. But if we want to do gamification now, we want that students should learn the things in a fun way, what we can, or slightly different way than whatever they are learning till date, what we can do. Okay, so we don't want that students should mug up this. I have seen many students at the time of the exam of the Java, Python, C, they used to rectify the code as a whole, or they might try to mug up this kind of the flow chart. Okay, so it is a forceful action what we are enforcing student, because in those kind of the subject paper, the logic will be given and student have to develop the code, or might be some short code is given and you have to find out the error into the code. That kind of questions will come.
Ma'am,
Kamal ma'am, you're not
ma'am,
audible.
you're not audible.
Hello ma'am.
Yeah, here so I haven't changed anything. Still it is not.
Now you're audible. I guess that loose connection was there with your mic. Now you're audible. So with these slides, when you came on this slide, it was not audible.
Okay. So what is the concept of this particular process? It is followed in the industry. In the Australia, we have this merino ships, and their wool is of the best quality. Whatever might be cardigans or woolens we get of the branded, some good brand, they made up of this ship, the wool of this particular ship. What is the characteristic of this merino ships are that they have very huge bulge of wool on their body. And because there is a huge bulge on their body, there are insects which develop inside the body because they also do sweat. And because of that, lots of insects are there. If insects are there, the ship will get that kind of a skin disease. And because of that, it impacts the quality of the wool. So what people are doing, that we have to now disinfect the ship. So for disinfecting the ship, what you can do, you can have a big tub of the material or the chemical or the medicine, and you can ask, you can take a ship and put inside that particular pool of the chemical. But at that time, the ship feels suffocating because the head also is going inside the pool. And during that, we have to put lots of force. We are doing it for the good of the ship, but we have to put lots of force onto the ship for doing this kind of disinfection. So what people have developed, that whenever ships are moving, there is one characteristic. One ship goes, the second will go behind the ship, the front one. So what they have done on the way of the ship, they dig a pit. And the pit was full of chemical of disinfecting material. So when they were naturally walking, they go into the pit. When they go inside the pit, all their body got disinfected, but at that time their head is out. So they are not feeling that suffocation. And when they are out, our purpose is solved. They are disinfected. We are getting better quality of wool, and the ships are also happy because they are not suffocated into the pit. The same approach we are taking for the students. We don't want to make them suffocated because of all our instructions. We want them, they should develop very good coding because ultimately their placement depends on their coding skill. We want to develop that, but we don't want that they should take that pressure, they should mug up the code, they should feel suffocated. So we want that enjoyment factor to be there into the system. How can we solve it? I'm suggesting that we all have played this kind of a jigsaw puzzles when we were very small. At the end, on the back side of the jigsaw puzzle, normally it is plain, white color paper you can see. What you can do, this particular code, let us say this code you want to teach to the student. So at that time, it is a code for finding the factor of a given number. Find out the factor for the given number. That kind of the coding is there. You take out this flow chart, cut the flow chart into different pieces, stick that onto a jigsaw puzzle, either manually or digitally. Both the options are available. Stick it onto the jigsaw puzzle, backside of the jigsaw puzzle, where you have the white surface, and complete. Shuffle the pieces, give it to the students to solve. Now what they will do, they will try to make a picture out of it. This is actually a picture. They will see the front side. When they will make the correct order of your flow chart, when this order is correct, when they can put all the pieces correctly, at that time, when they will turn it, they can see this beautiful picture onto the puzzle. If any point, if they have not connected part properly, what will happen? The picture will not be complete. So you don't have to go and check whether the student have done the things correctly or no. He himself will realize that somewhere some part is missing. He is not able to fix the puzzle. So he will keep on doing those changes so that the picture will be clear. So we are reducing the burden on the faculty member of correction. students are, I would say, in the self-control, which is a requirement of education 4.0. They have to learn by themselves. So we are giving this kind of opportunity inside the classroom to the student, where they engage themselves, might be in a group or might be individually, and they are learning, improving their mistakes. They will find out some mistake, they improve and get the final results. And all these things we can do within 10 to 15 minutes of our lecture period, where maximum number of students are involved. So correction also we are doing inside the class, and we are making that engagement of the student also during the class. Now, previous lecture, madam has also said something about the sorting algorithm and linked list. How do we teach to the students when we take a sorting algorithm? As name suggests, we have to sort something. No? So we have to, there is a random numbers or random things given to us. We want to sort the things using digital algorithms. And now machine learning, artificial intelligence, many places we are using this kind of algorithms. How do we teach to the students when we take this kind of algorithms into class? Who would like to share? How do we teach into the class? Jagruti, do you teach into the class sorting algorithm, or might be you have learned that algorithm when you were a student? Jagruti Jadhav is there. Normally, how do we teach, or how we have learned this algorithm? When teachers start with the sorting algorithm, they take randomly numbers. Like suppose I give you a number 1, 7, 9, 10, 11. Can you sort this number? I have written one particular sequence 1, 7, 9, 11, 3 and 6. Can you sort that number? It's an easy number. No? So can we sort that particular number? 1, 7, 9, 11. 1, 7, 9, 11, 3 and 6. 3 and 6 are different. Sachin sir, you have missed that 7 also. 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11. Okay. So how do you sort this number? 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11. Why do we feel that when we write 1, 3, 6, 7, 9 and 11, the numbers are sorted? Okay, it's an ascending order of the number, which we have learned when we were small, and we feel now it is sorted. Now, if I give this training is teacher for. This is a sequence. Can we sort it now? Now, instead of number, we have the words. Can we sort it now? This training is for teacher. Okay, we can sort it now. So whenever we teach sorting algorithm and linked list, we use these concepts. to explain the algorithm, and then we give random number, random data set, and then student apply the algorithm, and then they find out the answers. Can I make it more interesting? Now, every time we have to think, like whenever we go into the class, we take one topic. At that time, let us think, can I make it more interesting? Okay. Now, any one of you, are you able to get any interesting idea besides this normal examples, which we have also learned when our teacher taught us, and we are also teaching in the same way when we are teaching it to students? Can we do some kind of innovation now as a faculty into this topic? Anything clicks in your mind? Now on the screen, what we can see, what is it? On the screen, what are you able to see? There are some stamps on which the sequence of Ramayana is giving. Okay. Yeah. Some stamps are there, and on which the different sequence of Ramayana, some scenes of Ramayana is given. If we give this kind of pictures to the students and ask them to sort, instead of normal numbers, what we are telling them? We are telling them to sort this picture, which is random in nature. I have taken example of Ramayana. You can even take example of Bahubali. You can take example of RRR. You can take anything, whichever game they are playing. Clash of Clans also you can take. Okay. You can take multiple pictures which are not ordered properly, but they know the sequence properly. So after this, we start teaching them the sorting algorithm, that, okay, you have sorted the picture because you have the basic of it. You know that what is the sequence, how the Ram got married and how he fought that particular fight, whatever has happened, because you know the story, you can sort. Similarly, algorithm also is going to sort the particular sequence given to the algorithm. So here, what we are bringing into the picture, that Indian knowledge system. Now, lots of emphasis is given in NEP 2020 that bring Indian knowledge system to your curriculum. How can we bring that? Okay, because Indian culture, Indian knowledge system is very strong. As a faculty, we can find out this kind of small avenues where we can connect our culture to the student. So wherever we get any chance, we should try to do innovations, experimentation in this kind of the form. So this is my one more suggestion for sorting algorithm. Okay. Now, this is one particular, I would say, a Fourier transform in the image processing, signal processing. This is slightly, I would say, a boring topic. Okay, though I am from the field of image processing, we can say that that is totally mathematical in a nature, and lots of derivations are there. So at one particular time, there is a kind. The fundamental of Fourier transform is what? There is one wave, but that wave is made up of multiple smaller waves which have a higher frequency than the fundamental wave. So we call it as a harmonic, and we try to develop all those harmonics into the calculation. Now, when we want to teach this kind of very technical, in-depth topic, also should be there for longer span, because our derivations might go up to half an hour also, 45 minutes also sometimes. What we can do, we can introduce the topic with some kind of engaging element. I have taken this particular piano example. Now here, I am not introducing Fourier transform to the student. As a faculty, what I am doing, I am telling them that this is a link typed into the chat box, or might be you can give it onto their WhatsApp group. What you can do, you can also experience like how beautifully it will come out. I'm just writing this particular link into the chat box. Is it visible in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Now open that link. Click onto that link, open it. What you are able to see on that link?
We can see the keyboard.
How many of you were able to open it? Are you able to see the piano? Keys of the piano on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Maximum people try to open it. Okay. Now tap on the key. Some different sounds are coming. From each key, A, B, C, D, 3, 4, something will be written. Press randomly the key. Are you able to hear different sounds? पियानो में से कुछ सुनाई दे रहा है कि नहीं दे रहा है?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Different sounds are there on the piano key. Whichever key you are pressing, it has a different sound than the next key. Correct? What is the logic? The logic is that each key represents one is a fundamental key and all other keys are different harmonics. If you go towards your right, what is happening? The sound become more and more sharper. It is not very pleasing. It become very sharp at that time. So what we are teaching to the student, they are experiencing in a class, there will be lots of peh, poo, peh, but let it be. Okay, everybody is playing their particular key. After that, you start with your mathematical delivery, that there is a fundamental key, which is, suppose you are pressing C, D, whichever key, that is a fundamental key. And then on left hand side, you have one frequency, right hand side, you have another frequency. So what we are telling that each instrument, musical instrument, it is made up of this kind of the sound, harmonic series, there are pitch. Now we are taking them into the frequency calculation, how the frequencies are differentiated from each other. Here you can see that as we are going away, they are very much near to each other. The distance is reducing. This they are experiencing. Okay? And what we are teaching now to them, that this is a Fourier transform. You have a fundamental cycle, you have a second harmonic, you have a third harmonic, you have a fifth harmonic. How the harmonics are connected with each other, what is a mathematical equation? The same mathematics is followed in the piano. So now what we are doing, we are connecting music with the technology. So they are learning different interdisciplinary learning, I would say, which is a term point now. And people are advocating that kind of teaching learning into the class. henceforth, whenever they go, they listen to some music. At that time, they even back of the mind, consciously, unconsciously, comparing their Fourier transform as well. So as a faculty, don't you feel your purpose is solved? You have taught them a Fourier transform. Do you feel that in this way, if we teach Fourier transform, the student will be happy, or they might remember it for a longer time? What is the fundamental of the Fourier transform? Do we feel like that? Okay. So ultimately, as a faculty, what we are doing, we are, our purpose is what? Our purpose is that students should develop a knowledge, should enhance the skill, should strengthen their attitude as a learner. He should ask questions: why, what, where I can apply this. Now he knows that he can apply Fourier transform not only in the signal processing, but he can also apply into the music. So that kind of the holistic development we want to develop inside every child, every student at every level. So now I'll pause for 2-3 minutes. Okay, they will be more confident. I would like that participants kindly share your view. What are your views if we teach students like this into the class, or this kind of gamification of the technical concepts into the class? Will it improve their teaching learning, or they will not be interested, they will feel more connected? What are your views as a academician? Because all of you are in the field from many years. We all are teachers teaching our technical topic very beautifully into the class. But do you feel this kind of the activities will help you to improve your, it might not improve your teaching, but learning component, that academic quotient of the student will improve? Do you feel like that? Okay,
Yes,
somebody,
ma'am.
they will be eager to learn and understand. Okay, so they,
Yes, ma'am. I want to share one experience. So for Fourier transform, you gave the example. No, I always start that topic with the example that when a ray of light passes through the prism, so it gives different frequencies, and if we'll remove the prism by the Fourier transform in mathematical calculation, so it will give you whatever the frequencies are present in that particular signal. So in that way, always I give the analogy.
yes,
So
because they already know the prism from 7th
yeah,
class, so they can relate easily. Yes.
yes.
Very nice. Anyone else who want to share? Somebody has written, the student will be able to grasp these concepts more clearly in a playful way. So ultimately, like a Marino Shea, we don't want to suffocate student into the class, because whatever content we are delivering, because of grace of Google, the students might be able to get it. But this is the experience or the feeling what they are getting into the classroom. It is not there onto the online mode. They can learn the technology there also, but this feeling what we are giving into the class might not be there in online platforms or the video lectures. And because of that feeling, it might be there that student want to come again and again to your class.
They can look at things from a different perspective, and it will help them to, memorize and understand things differently,
So it
which
might,
they can apply practically.
yes, it might help them to understand. Basically, our purpose is to make them understand the concept in a, so that they remember it for a better period of time. Okay. So I thank you, all of you, for sharing your opinion. Now let me summarize. So what is the summary of all these discussions, what we were doing from last 1.5 hours? That basically till now, there are 4 intelligence we have coined gradually over the period. Initially, it started with the physical quotient, where the physical discipline should be there. You should be healthy, so that if your body is healthy, then you can concentrate more on your mind. That kind of physical quotient was promoted in initial stage. Then it came Akal Badi Ki Bhais. So then it came to IQ, that how much math and verbal intelligence a student has. We started measuring that intelligence with the help of those tools. So there are IQ test device, and then people have a different IQ level. We could measure the IQ level. So initially we measure their physical fitness, then gradually we move to the IQ level. After few years, we realized that only intelligence might not serve the purpose. I should feel that empathy also. I should manage myself. There are some very intelligent people into the world, but they were not able to contribute the way they should contribute for the society. They have never felt that pain of the society to solve the problem. So though they were intelligent, but their intelligence could not be materialized. So then the era came when people started talking society as a whole. We should be aware that what we are doing. And it is one of the trait nowadays for the leadership quality also, that emotionally also your EQ should be high. Sometimes they are also telling that if your IQ is slightly low, but if your EQ is high, then you are a good team player. And nowadays people want good team players. Slowly, it is observed that now this is also not sufficient. We should have the balanced personality. We should manage ourselves first as an individual. Inner wisdom should be there. And so now the new term has been coined as a spiritual quotient. AICT also has realized, and that human value, universal human value, they have added the subject. So slowly, we also have aligned our syllabus, teaching methodology in this particular direction, where we can increase the intelligence level of the student at par with the global levels. Now, by doing all this activity into the class, what I feel, we are adding one more dimension, and I am telling it is an academic quotient. So we are not increasing, not only increasing their learning, but we are increasing their capability of applying that concept into the real life, because now they have understood it better. So this is what I feel, that whatever students are learning, they are learning n number of concepts. Let them understand it in a better way and apply that concept in the real time for solving any problem of the society. So when we are as a faculty able to do all this, I think we are in the era of education 4.0. And gamification, why I feel we should do it. Whatever you do, the enjoyment, whether you get the enjoyment in online, sitting in your AC room with the elite class of people, same kind of enjoyment feeling we get when we go to the field, might be in the rural area. It doesn't require any language. When you play the game, there are no instructions, no particular language. If I don't know English, I cannot play snake and ladder. वैसा नहीं होता है. Everybody is playing snake and ladder. Everybody plays playing card. So it is like that. The game reduces that digital divide and language divide. And ultimately, we are able to penetrate knowledge into all kind of the students. Because in our one class, there are students from various culture, various societal background. They are sitting. And then we want to address their educational need. And this could be one of the tools. So in a conclusion, what I would like to share here is, That education 1.0, if you observe very carefully, the teacher used to deliver the lecture. Students are silent. Fold your hand, keep one finger on your lip. That kind of a strict, disciplined class was there. A teacher used to deliver the lecture. Mostly a fear factor was there into the class. Students were hesitant to ask any question to the teacher. Education 2.0, if you see, the internet started, then we started getting those bandwidth availability. Whatever teachers were teaching into the class, we started getting some YouTube videos, some kind of ready-made journals, journal paper onto the soft copy form. So we started supporting our education with the material which was available from the net, or easily it was made available in libraries. So a kind of collaboration started. Okay, if your library doesn't have, if another college library has, then we used to request them and we used to get those resources, something like that. On the internet also, some kind of collaboration, collaborative learning have started because we could able to connect with each other. Education 3.0, as we graduated, the MOOC courses have started. Now on FM radio, when you are coming into the morning, even we are listening that online university. They don't have any teacher, they don't have any classroom, they don't have any bench, any lab. Everything is in a virtual mode. So virtual universities are coming, which will deliver the same content might be what we want to deliver into the class, into our infrastructure. Lots of MOOC, NPTEL, like we all have experience. Very nice quality lectures are available. There are lots of evaluation tools. Even during this seminar, webinars also, we have learned many evaluation tools. So many new tools and techniques are now available. So students, we can measure in the formative assessment, summative assessment, in-class assessment, whatever you want to do, now it has become very easy. So now what new we will do when we go to education 4.0? So what I feel, now it is a time for all of us to improve our teaching learning process by adding that innovative component into the classroom. Daily as a faculty, we have to think that this topic I have to teach into the class, how differently I can teach. Can I do something into the class so that students are more engaged? I can be more happy. When you do this activity, you yourself will be also very happy. Evaluation need to be flexible. Okay. Suppose you have given some game, you have given jigsaw puzzle, students have solved, give them 5 marks. Now, why they should write assignment? So our evaluation process should be flexible enough, which gives lots of avenue to the student so that we can experiment, they can also experiment. So that kind of the flexible system we should establish as a part of 4.0. We should reduce that digital divide because we want to penetrate to the maximum layer of the society. And experiential learning is a lifelong learning. So we should engage our students into experiential learning. So these are the conclusion which I have drawn from the education 4.0. Because 21st century learners should be innovator, they should be self-directed. Okay, so they might not need our hand holding like 10 years back they were needed, because they have lots of support with them. Now we just have to tell them which one to use when. They are globally aware, financially and economically also students are literate now. So we want to teach them all these threats during our teaching learning process. So use one thread in one module also. We have 6 modules to teach to the student. Take one thread and use it in one module. You see how beautifully your teaching learning will be innovative. So nowadays, like after lockdown, many of the buses, they had that पानी पे सबका अधिकार है, पानी पे सबका हक है, मस्ती पे सबका हक है. Water Kingdom used to write that. So I also feel मस्ती भरे learning पे सबका हक है. everyone should learn with lots of fun into the class. So that is all from my side. Thank you all of you for patient listening and participating.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if anything is there from your side, you can ask.
Any questions from participant side?
Yeah, somebody has written, while teaching, when some sort of feeling is attached, remember understanding level is increased. Definitely.
Okay, so we can wind up this session, ma'am.
Yes, if they don't have any questions, and if they want to design anything for their own topic, they can contact anytime to us and we will help them to design those concepts.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just I like to share,
Yes.
as you told that gaming is to be added. So while teaching that potential barrier concept, like when there is a barrier is less, okay, electrons are not transforming. When barrier is more, the electrons get transferred from. Sorry, when barrier is more, electrons are not transferring, and when it is reduced, they transfer. At that time, I explained one game which used to play at the our childhood, that somebody will bend and we try to jump from the side, one side to another side. Then he will stand, he will stand, I will stand, and at one point we cannot jump because now barrier is more. So electron cannot jump. That I explained it in that particular way.
Yes, yes. So at that time, that is what I said. Okay, now your student, those who might have learned, they will remember always that visual things when they write those answers also. So might be when you objective, when you ask this question, no, none of them will do wrong because they know barrier बढ़ गया तो electron.
Yes. So I take such examples like while teaching.
Yeah. So like whenever you have few more topic when you want to teach, typically the difficult one.
And then like why we give biasing to a diode, like what is that purpose of biasing? Then I give example of high jump, that when a athlete has to jump, sorry, that a gamer has to jump, he takes a stick in his hand and then he jumps so that he can remove that barrier. So that stick is nothing but playing a concept of voltage, that battery. I explained it in that particular way.
Beautiful, sir. So that is how like we want to engage the students. Ultimately, our aim is what we teachers want that students should learn.
Correct,
ultimately, we don't want to teach. हम तो हर साल पढ़ाते ही रहेंगे ना. Ultimately, we want that they should learn.
Correct.
And
so like every time I explain, I try to take some of the real life scenarios and then attach to that particular concept.
Yes. That is what we should do now also. NEP also is telling the same thing, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. So we can include all those concepts.
Yes. Thank
you, sir. Biju sir has also written something. None of you have anything to share. We can conclude the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, first of all, for accepting this invitation and for such an interactive session, because we need to break that monotonous tone in the classrooms, and these small games will definitely do that, and we can achieve attention from we can seek attention from the students. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you. For all the participants now, we will have lunch break of half an hour today. And again, exactly at 2 p.m., we will all meet here again. Okay, I will end the meeting now. We'll again join at 2 p.m. Thank you all.